Hello and welcome to today's Inside Track. Thanks for joining us. Another unusual and exciting fortnight in dairy and the world in general. Kids are back to school in Australia, so there was a lot of anxiety around Omicron and how that would affect. Levels and cases have been good in the last fortnight, so it is promising for things to come. Hopefully that puts a lot more confidence back into the market and we see some more demand with food service and retail and some more business confidence in general. Let's have a look at dairy. As always, we'll start off with full cream milk powder. Full cream milk powder jumped 4% last night on the GDT, which was in line with expectations on the futures market of 5%. Supply conditions, we did anticipate that we might see some relief in supply after some good rainfall in the start of February in New Zealand. However, it really only has corrected supply a little bit and demand has still continued to outstrip it. So pricing is going to be firm for the next 3 to 4 months. We don't see any fundamental change in whole milk powder. Having a look at skim milk powder. Skim milk powder has been the real interesting one, as we've spoken of in the last previous fortnights. It went up 6% again last night on the global dairy auction. It's now at nearly 4,300 US. So just to give some perspective, this time last year in February 2021, we were sitting at about 3,200. So yeah, nearly 1,100 US dollars in the space of the year. Once again, no fundamental signs to see any slowing up. We've got the EU still short on milk, US short on supply, plus challenging export conditions. So that demand for Australian and New Zealand skim milk powder is still very high. And as people continue to fill short positions, we should see pricing remain high as well. Moving across to Butterfat, so we saw another sharp incline in the GDT last night, meaning demand, like whole milk powder, for Australian New Zealand product is still very high. In the US, we're seeing a few different signals. Domestic demand is a bit on the wane. However, export demand now is also quite high, but their butter pricing had been drifting off slightly. In the EU, due to short supply, Butterfat is remaining quite firm. We've been seeing a lot of Palicon AMF or drum AMF from New Zealand coming over to fill holes in the EU, which is keeping global demand quite high across Butterfat. Short to medium term outlook is firm in pricing as supply dwindles coming into new season. Let's have a look at cheese now. So in the US, it's a bit of a mixed bag. Demand hasn't been through the roof domestically. However, export demand is quite high given the higher prices for Australia and New Zealand cheese and European. So, but it is hard to get product out of the US. So yeah, pricing is still firm. For Australia and New Zealand product, pricing is firm. A lot of good demand globally for that product. Bit of a mixed bag in Australia as well. With Omicron, December, January, food service demand for cheese was down. However, with a bit of continued optimism, that would probably swallow up a bit of supply, and we probably see some firming pricing in Australia as well over the next 2 to 3 months. Finishing off with whey powder. So a much similar story to the last couple of months on whey powder. Sweet whey is short in supply globally, so prices are remaining firm, and that protein market, WPI, WPCs, is really kicking on again to the next level. So we're just seeing some real shortage globally, and pricing just continue to be on the up. Not sure where the end will be with protein pricing, but at this stage, demand still continues to outstrip supply. Thanks very much for listening to today's Inside Track. Like we said, a lot more optimism in the Australian market as kids go back to school and people getting out and about, which is great. Also, our record-breaking medal tally at Beijing for the Winter Olympics, which is great. We've got 4 medals now. We're not too big on the Winter Olympics, as you know, weather-wise in Australia, but we're doing really, really well. So enjoy your next fortnight, and we'll see you again soon.